from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
To replace a rim like this is $300, maybe more. So how do you do it on the cheap? Well, there are shops that take care of this, and they're going crazy because they're busy, busy, busy.
Sunshine was nice today, but we've got precipitation coming in tomorrow, and it may not be all rain.
All right, Ben, and our other top story tonight, the widespread flooding across southeast Michigan, though there is some good news to report at this hour.
Flood warnings are in effect right now for the Clinton River to the north and River Raisin to the south.
And conditions still pretty bad, but the good news comes from the Weather Service. We'll have more on that in a moment, but let's bring in Paula Tutman, who's in the midst of it in Monroe. Paula.
More than a few handfuls of houses in Monroe, I guess you could consider them as cannon fodder. You know, they are the first line when the waters start coming up from the River Raisin. These are homes and homeowners that are used to flood waters. But when you see all of this water, including these houses that are inside the river right now, what's so incredible is that this is actually a good news scenario. In Monroe, the River Raisin has come a knockin' early, but on Rath Road, no one is home to answer. These are the houses that flood first when the spring thaw arrives, and this year, the spring thaw is early. The locals are used to it. This is no big deal. Even when the water surrounds your house on the floodplains of Monroe, it's all part of life on the river.
Oh, this is nothing.
And while this looks really bad to outsiders, there's a good news scenario in the fact that the rains in the last 2 days have brought heavy flooding in February.
The ice broke up rather early. We had cooler size ice earlier, which is gone now with the debris. So the water came up, flushed it all out. So we're looking at hopefully, if Mother Nature cooperates, a good year here in Monroe County.
In the final analysis, this flood will likely save the county upwards of $30,000 and homeowners thousands as well.
What has happened this year is we've lost our ice early. So we're not going to have the ice jams, which restrict the flow in the river and cause the backups into people's houses, basements, and areas like that.
This is a good thing. When it would get really warm and the river was still iced over, we started to sweat because you knew it was going to be coming in to your basement.
So this is good, you know, to have the ice all gone and everything moving down.
Okay, yeah, that is the good news. You're looking at Huber and Elm in Monroe, and you can see right here the road is closed. Here's what's incredible. We've actually seen vehicles still coming through this water. One SUV was actually dragging a cone with it. Take a look. Just come with me just for a second, guys. Here it is right here. Here's the River Raisin. Now, it hasn't crested yet. It's supposed to crest later tonight or early tomorrow morning. And while they do believe it's going to crest at a lower stage than they thought, it's still going to be high. The bottom line is you have to be careful because you don't know where the water is going to go. So the good news is not as bad as they thought. The bad news is people are still taking crazy chances.
Yeah. Well, Paula, and talking about the water heading downstream, I wonder if we've heard anything about the Dundee Post Office. That was under threat from the water, too.
Yeah, it really was. And Monroe's been in touch with hydrologists all day. Again, they believe that while the water has not crested there, it is going to crest about 5 feet below that severe flood stage level. And so they believe that the worst is probably over. It's not going to get as bad as they thought. So there is some good news, but people's places are still flooded, and that's not good.
No doubt about it. All right, Paula.
A state of emergency has been declared in Lansing as flooding has started to impact residential areas there. City officials are telling anyone living in flood zones to temporarily leave their homes. The Grand River is forecast to crest at over 14 feet and the Red Cedar at just over 10 feet. The Red Cross is providing shelter for displaced residents.
Now to breaking news out of Pontiac, where a pedestrian bridge is in dangerous condition after one of its supports was hit somehow. Located on M59 between Telegraph and Woodward, again a pedestrian bridge. Not sure exactly yet what hit it, but M59 in that area is going to close sometime around 6 o'clock so that they can pull that bridge down as a safety precaution. And we currently do not have an ETA for when M59 in that area will reopen. We will let you know. But with the heavy rain and the severe flooding, after all that talk of what we just saw, very nice to see this picture. That is sunshine.
Yeah,
looks great out there, but unfortunately it's not going to stay that way. Ben's tracking some more rain on the way, this time freezing rain. Hi, Ben.
Yeah, that's what I was going to show you, too. I had to do a double take, make sure that was a live picture. I was like, is that really what's going on out there right now? But it is beautiful. The sun is out. Temperatures have managed to hit at least close to 40 in most locations, but they will be coming down tonight. Wind chills still hanging right around that freezing mark. And the precipitation is going to start increasing, too. Right now, the area that we're concerned with is this stuff that's over here in southwest Missouri. It'll be in our back door as we get into early Friday morning, and it's going to start out as really light stuff, but temperatures are going to be very close to the freezing mark, if not right at that, and possibly below. So there's a possibility that some of this stuff could start out as just a little bit of light freezing rain. We're talking a glaze at best, but quickly rising temperatures. It's going to be mostly liquid tomorrow that a lot of us are going to see. So possibility of seeing some very light freezing rain in the morning. A mainly dry weekend ahead. We'll discuss that and some more sweet, sweet sunshine for next week. All that's coming up in a few minutes, guys.
The unmistakable sound of pothole season. Folks all over Metro Detroit hearing this as they flock to repair shops after hitting one of the thousands of potholes around town. Anecdotally right now, it feels worse than in any time in memory. Shop owners don't really like talking about this, but pothole season is, of course, big business for them, and especially so this year.
You're right, and it's far from over, with emergency road repairs barely making a dent. Rod Maloney is live at a special MDOT open house tonight about one of the major trouble spots. We're talking about I-696, Rod.
Right, and we know how bad I-696 has been for quite some time, and these are all of the maps and all of the people who are going to be involved with shutting it down this summer and then repaving the whole thing, and that inconvenience is going to be monumental. But here's the thing. This is my new favorite bumper sticker. It says, "I'm not driving drunk, I'm dodging potholes." It's a local Weldcraft wheel repair shop in Livonia, and boy, are they busy.
Been very busy, like 4 times as busy as normal.
Weldcraft wheel repair owner James Redding's shop is hopping. Here they heat up bent rims, weld the cracks and mill the lumps flat. It's monumentally inconvenient to dent a rim this way, with 40 rims a day now rolling in. Takes a couple of days to get one back. Redding says since the car maker has switched from steel to aluminum.
So there's some expertise required in order to handle aluminum wheels, both with making them round again, and in addition, if they're cracked, they're going to need to be welded and machined.
And the customers just keep rolling in. Mary Ashcroft's rim died last night on the way home from choir practice.
I knew there was something wrong because within minutes the light came on saying low tire pressure. I thought, oh no.
There are only a handful of shops around Metro Detroit doing this. Pro Wheels on 8 Mile on the Detroit Oak Park border takes it one step farther by painting the rims. Owner Leon Simonian says that usually he just services repair shops and dealerships, but now there's foot traffic.
They calling, they walk in, come in, bring the wheels, bend, crack, different size. We take care of it.
Now, those shops are the inexpensive way out when you consider that a new rim will run you, say, between $300 and $500. They can repair it for between $65 and $85. So having your bumper sticker is probably a good option right about now. Back to you.
Indeed. Rod, I'm wondering, is this the worst year that those shop owners can remember? It seems like a lot of people that lived here a long time say they don't remember it ever being this bad.
Well, James Redding from Weldcraft said that in 2014 he remembers it being a little bit worse, but what he said is that what we're seeing is a ramp up to that awfulness that we had back in 2014 with all that snow this year. Now, we're going to be talking about potholes and where all the money went. We're paying higher gas taxes, right? Well, coming up on Local 4 News at 6, we're going to talk about, well, okay, where did that money go?
Yeah. That's a good question, and we look forward to your report coming up at 6, Rod. We appreciate it. And our coverage of the dangerous potholes continues on clickondetroit.com, including how MDOT says is the correct way to drive over a pothole. You can find that and a whole lot more on the homepage.
All right, other news at this hour, more than 100 people actually showed up outside the Michigan State Capitol earlier today, rallying for stricter gun control measures.
More than a dozen Democratic lawmakers and candidates for statewide offices attended that rally. Several gun reform ideas were discussed, including stricter background checks, a ban on high-capacity magazines, and more funding for mental health care.
Gun debate rages on. President Trump floating a rather controversial plan, arming teachers. We're also hearing more strong pushback from the NRA today. Ed Lawrence in Washington, as both sides of the debate seem to be digging in. Ed?
Well, good evening. President Trump says he has been on the phone with lawmakers having frank conversations about gun control, something that would have been impossible a few weeks ago.
When do you want it? Now!
With students around the country driving a passionate debate on gun control, President Trump appears to be listening, but today doubling down on his call to arm some teachers to prevent school shootings.
I think we need hardened sights. We need to let people know, you come into our schools, you're going to be dead, and it's going to be fast.
He's talking about tougher background checks, mental health screening, and a ban on bump stocks, but also going a step further, raising the legal age for gun purchases from 18 to 21, and predicting the NRA will agree with him.
Evil walks among us, and God help us if we don't harden our schools.
The NRA today focusing on arming teachers, blaming Democrats, and the FBI's failure to stop the Florida shooter.
It is not our job to follow up on red flags. It is not our job to make sure that states are reporting to the background check system.
A handful of states already allow teachers to carry guns. Fred Gutenberg doubts a teacher with a handgun could have saved his daughter.
You would have had a shootout with all these kids and people running all over that would not have saved lives. It would have led to further loss of life.
A debate that's raged for decades, now with the president pledging to turn talk to action. The president says he's not proposing that all teachers get guns, just those with military backgrounds or special training. That may be a tough sell here on Capitol Hill. In Washington, Edward Lawrence, Local 4.
Well, much more ahead here at 5. Here's Nick.
I know it doesn't seem like much, but this is the gates to Detroit's only campground. It hasn't been open in nearly 20 years. What has changed and why kids will be able to use this again?
Cheerleading is all about teamwork and lifting each other up.
We are Kenzie Strong.
But one local squad is taking that to another level, and it's really affecting one of their teammates.
All right, Jamie, but first, how a post on Snapchat had police swarming Melvindale High. That's next.
New at 6.
His story has inspired us every step of the way. Now there's a new step to show you in the remarkable recovery of Sean English, the hero who lost his leg trying to help a stranger along I-96.
Also, police chiefs from departments all over the metro area meeting to discuss what could be their next big move in the opioid crisis. That's at 6.
A 15-year-old Melvindale High School student is facing charges of a threat of terrorism. Police say he sent a photo to another student showing himself holding a gun, saying he was going to shoot up the school. The student who received the message reported it to the school. The school then contacted police. The teen is being held on a $20,000 bond. If he posts bond, he's prohibited from contacting or appearing at any Melvindale school.
The cheerleading team at L'Anse Creuse North is setting the example for what teams should do. When their teammate Kenzie was diagnosed with cancer, they didn't take the news sitting down. They decided to do something about it. Our Jamie Edmonds shows us how they're working to lift her up in more than the usual ways.
This is the L'Anse Creuse North cheerleading squad. Right now, they're all smiles, but it's been a really tough season, especially for sophomore Mackenzie Chapsky, who wasn't feeling well back in the winter and then in December got a terrible diagnosis.
A few days later, we got the results back that it was the cancer.
Cancer, a disease that took the life of her mom, Denise, in 2016, was now something she too had, and that is just so unfair.
And I remember seeing her go through chemo. It was just scary. It was like, what is it going to be like, you know, like what is it? How's all of this gonna go?
Almost immediately, these crusaders decided Kenzie's fight was also theirs.
I mean, obviously we were devastated because she's such a big part of our team and like she's kind of like our spirit.
Now that the season is over, they're planning another fundraiser. Anything they can do to lift up a teammate and help her family. It's been a lesson that can't be taught in a classroom.
One of your best friends having cancer, like that teaches you a lot more about like being strong, being like there for them, like a support system, I guess.
This bubbly 15-year-old tells me she's not letting cancer get her down.
We are Kenzie Strong.
It seems her teammates aren't going to let her fall.
It's been great. I love having such a team behind me.
So the girls are holding a spaghetti dinner here at the high school on March 16th. There'll be a raffle, a 50-50. If you'd like to help, I'll put all the information on clickondetroit.com. At L'Anse Creuse North, Jamie Edmonds, Local 4.
What a strong young woman, and what a great support system.
Really great story about what a team is all about. Let's bring in Ben. If you're just joining us, we mentioned off the top of the newscast, flood stage, fortunately not going to be quite as bad as we feared that it might be in some areas, but this has still been just really dreadful for some folks.
It's still out there.
Yep.
In a lot of folks' backyards, too. And it's going to be a while before that water has somewhere to go, as Paula was telling us earlier. So these are the warnings that we have for the rivers around the area. The River Raisin, where Paula was earlier, Monroe and Blissfield, that's still under flood warning. Clinton River here at Sterling Heights and Clinton Township especially. The Kersley Creek up in Davison in Genesee County, and now the Huron River in Hamburg Township is under a flood warning. We're going to take a quick look at some of the levels here. We'll start at the Clinton River North Branch. Good news here, the river levels are falling, so they're going to start receding as we head into the weekend and should be below flood stage as we get into Friday. Now out to River Raisin in Blissfield, that river is near crest, but it's going to be a very slow fall. In fact, probably not below flood stage till we get into Saturday. A little bit of a different story if you're out in Hamburg. The Huron River is still rising, and it's not going to crest until Friday, and that's a very slow fall. All the way through the early part of next week will likely be above flood stage. So we did see some sunshine today, and that sun just now getting below the cloud deck. So we'll see a little bit more before it finally disappears over the horizon. Current temperature 39. We did get above average today, and that's going to be our coldest temperature that we'll have to endure going forward. Got a lot of mild air coming as we get through the next 7 days. Wind chill making it feel like it's around freezing. Hard to tell where the lake ends and the clouds begin out here, looking out over Lake St. Clair. But Miss B tells us the ice is breaking up out there, not surprisingly, with the warm temperatures we've had. So be extra careful if you are going to be out that way over the next several days. 39 here. We've got 40s out in Howell and Ann Arbor. Temperatures into our north zone, mid-30s. And we will all be cooling to right around that freezing mark tonight. In fact, we'll probably see our lows at some point in the overnight hours and then just plateau as we head towards daybreak. Here comes the next chance of rain. This is going to be pretty light stuff compared to what we've been dealing with. And as we get into the 8-9 o'clock hour, there's not going to be a whole lot of moisture out there when those temperatures are right around 32. But it is possible we could see a little bit of freezing rain, just a little bit of a glaze. Won't last long, not causing any huge problems. And most of this is going to be rain as we get through the rest of the morning hours. A little disturbance will finally kick that out of here by about midday. Then we're dry beyond that until we get to the end of the weekend. So the daylight hours Saturday and Sunday are looking dry. Overnight, we're going to get a good dose of rain in here Saturday night into early Sunday morning. But again, shortly after sunrise, that should be done. And it looks like that rain, both what we're expecting tonight and what we're getting over the weekend, should not affect those river levels any more than they already have. 33 is what we're going to wake up to in the city tomorrow. These are 7 a.m. temps in your 4-zone forecast. South zone numbers, again, pretty close to freezing. A couple spots there at 32. Milan, Tecumseh, Onstead, you're likely going to be right around that number. Good news is moisture is going to be light on the beginning edge of this system. 31 in Flint, up in Genesee County, down to 31 in Brighton and Novi. And in our north zone, we're going to be below freezing here, at least in a good chunk of the area. Marlette, North Branch, Lapeer, all 31 or below tomorrow morning. As far as high temperatures go tomorrow, we will be warmer than we were today, close to 50, but the wind's going to start picking up as we get into the afternoon hours tomorrow. We'll see some sunshine on Saturday, but we'll see a whole lot more of it on Sunday late as highs race up to 53 degrees. That's going to be a pretty nice finish to the weekend. And we've got a string of sunshine early next week, so we can finally, hopefully, start to dry this stuff out.
That would be good.
Yep. All right. Well, coming up, the U.S. women go for glory on the ice. Ahead here at 5, the can't-miss moment overnight at the Olympics.
I'm thinking big decline in productivity in Canada and the U.S. today. But first, what caused more than 100 people out into the cold last night in Warren? When we come right back.
Investigators are trying to figure out what caused a hotel fire this morning that forced the evacuation of about 100 guests. It happened at the Extended Stay America and Warren near the Civic Center. We're told the alarms went off early in the morning after a fire on the second floor. No injuries were reported, and the people that were evacuated from their homes have been moved to another extended stay hotel in Sterling Heights. The U.S. Postal Service has now agreed to attend tonight's town hall meeting discussing mail issues in Ypsilanti after backing out last night.
Yeah, the meeting was planned by Congresswoman Debbie Dingell after residents continued to complain about dozens of issues concerning mail delivery. The Congresswoman will now not be in attendance due to USPS concern about violating the Hatch Act. Dingell told the Postal Service if they didn't attend, she would document every case of poor service and deliver them directly to the Postmaster General. Now, across Michigan tonight, Michigan State University's interim president is donating his salary back to the university. John Engler was tapped to lead the university amid the fallout over the Larry Nassar scandal. Under his new contract, he'll receive an annual salary of $510,000, a salary he has now voluntarily agreed to donate to MSU-related charities. He's not yet announced which areas of the university will be receiving his compensation.
New at 5:30.
It's been 2 months since Demond Carpenter was shot outside of an apartment complex. I'm Larry Spruill, and I'll show you why today the family is passing out these flyers, asking for answers and seeking justice.
Lessons on ice that lead to success in life.
I've heard girls say they're starting to do better in math. I hear girls saying that they're starting to feel better or feel more confident speaking in front of people.
The new program already making a big impact on some young skaters.
I know it doesn't look like much. It is flooded thanks to Mother Nature, but all that is actually a campground, the only one here in the city of Detroit. But it hasn't been open for nearly 20 years. That's changing, though. I'll explain why.
Get the scoop.
Break out the marshmallows and the ghost stories. For the first time in 20 years, camping is coming back to the city of Detroit. Now, for those of you that grew up on the far west side of Detroit, you may remember Scout Hollow.
Yeah, it's a campground in Rouge Park, I should say, the only campground in the city of Detroit. And it's been closed for close to 20 years now, but thanks to a $200,000 grant, it's reopening. And as Nick Monticelli reports, there are those that say the campground is about much more than camping.
So soon these gates will be open. Let me give credit where credit is due. The Sierra Club, Detroit Outdoors, YMCA of Greater Detroit, Detroit Parks and Rec, and the Kresge Foundation, all teaming up to open these gates, open these parking lots, and let you drive and camp down at Scout Hollow.
This is Scout Hollow. You're catching it at a pretty unique time right now.
I suppose it probably isn't the prettiest picture, but the flagpole is proof. This hidden gem in Rouge Park is actually a long-lost campground. But not anymore, thanks to Garrett Dempsey.
You can hear the sounds of the city, but you see the stars overhead. You know, you go to sleep and then you wake up in the morning and people are like, I heard wild turkeys. There's wild turkeys walking right by your tent.
Dempsey is part of a group bringing back Scout Hollow, which hasn't been open since the early 2000s, when budgets started shrinking. The 17.4-acre site can fit 3 campsites with 30 people each. They're hoping to host 250 campers by the end of this year.
It's an awesome deal. It's something I'm very excited about.
Keith Flournoy is with Detroit Parks and Rec, and he says he's most excited for the kids.
Being a minority coming from the inner city, this is not something we get a chance to see every day, you know, or do every day, you know, and so it's a great opportunity for us to expose our kids to the outdoors.
They're also trying to make that experience even easier by having gear ready to rent.
From sleeping bags to sleeping pads to cook kits and stoves and tents, everything that they'll need.
And if you're still having a hard time imagining, don't worry, because the teams working on bringing Scout Hollow back have been testing the accommodations and guessing what stories camping kids might tell.
We saw that raccoon, we all freaked out, you know. We thought it was gonna eat us alive, but we made it, right? They can tell those stories over and over.
In Detroit, Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
That's a little too scary, I think. The group will start taking reservations next month, and there's also going to be a program where camp leaders train teachers or other youth leaders for a weekend before taking the kids out.
Take a look. This is Demond Carpenter, standout student on the cheerleading squad at Western Michigan University. Demond had everything going for him until his life was cut short. Demond was killed in a drive-by shooting back on December 22nd. Now, as his family continues to grieve, they are coming forward, pleading for clues in the case. Larry Spruill is following the story for us tonight, and Larry, they are desperate for some answers and some closure.
Yeah, Karen, it's been a long 2 months for this family since he passed away. That's why they are passing out these flyers. They're asking for any information they know. They tell me they believe that somebody knows something. Standing in a united front, the family of Damond Carpenter is asking for help, tips, information, anything that will help solve this case.
It's not a good feeling to lose a child. It's not.
You can hear the raw emotion and pain in Melinda Carpenter's voice Thursday. She's the mother of Damond Carpenter. Local 4 was there at the scene December of 2017 when police say Damond and 2 of his friends were sitting inside his car at the Eastland Court Apartments on Detroit's east side. His family tells Local 4 Lamont was home from Western Michigan University on holiday break when someone started shooting at the car. The 2 friends survived. Damond died. It's a night his family remembers like it was yesterday.
I can't rest. I don't get no sleep. I barely eat.
Wayne Reef is a friend of the family.
This young man had quite a personality, $1 million smile. Never saw anything wrong with him. Never had a problem with him. If you know something, if you saw something, if you have any idea, any clues to how we can solve this murder, I ask that you call 1-800-SPEAK-UP.
And that seems to be the plea tonight, to please speak up. That's what the family kept reiterating at the press conference. As of right now, as you can see, the reward is $2,500, but police are offering $1,000 more if this case is solved by midnight tonight. We're live tonight, Larry Sproul, Local 4.
All right, Larry. Ford Motor Company has named its new Chief of North American Operations. Kumar Galhotra will step in as the new leader. He's replacing Raj Nair, who departed after misconduct allegations. Previously, Galhotra was in charge of Lincoln. Several other leadership changes have also been announced at Ford. If you'd like to see that full list, go to clickondetroit.com. An Eagle Scout on a mission is helping to transform a local school.
In this week's Heart of Detroit, Mitch Albom shows us how Hans Anderson is taking learning outdoors with his Eco Action Classroom.
Eagle Scout Hans Anderson had an idea for an environmentally friendly outdoor classroom at a local elementary school.
Make the school more green and have the kids go outside and learn about the environment and learn how to take care of it.
The Hoover Eco Action Outdoor Classroom at Hoover Elementary in Livonia is one of the first of its kind in Michigan.
There's tiered seating in the corner, and it kind of just like overlooks the garden areas.
Sort of indoor-outdoor learning.
Yeah. The teachers can come out, have reading time, or come out and like actually teach a lesson.
Hans learned many lessons during this project, especially from his mom, Kathy. Although she recently passed away, the memory of her support and guidance stay with him.
Teaching me how to do things, how to call and talk to people about getting supplies, and she was like always sitting there next to me going like this, or like, no, stop, don't do that, don't say that.
She was coaching you.
Yeah.
As you were fundraising.
Yeah.
So in your mind, is it a bit of a dedication to her?
Oh, for sure. She was the driving force.
Ain't nobody got 'em all like mine.
Hans has taken that driving force and applied it to everything he learns in life.
What would you say that you learned from this whole experience?
When you say you're going to do something, then do it. I had to lead people and take charge and to say like no to this and yes to that. Felt pretty good.
Yeah.
So it was like a real cool experience for me.
Yeah.
In honor of his mother, Hans Anderson is giving students the chance to be one with nature right here in the heart of Detroit.
All right, now to the Olympics, and the Canadians have been dethroned.
In match,
Yes.
These are really, if you're watching this is on the edge of your seat stuff. I mean, very exciting. The Americans ended a 20-year curse in not one but 2 Olympic events. Gina Kim is in Pyeongchang with highlights from a big day for Team USA.
The U.S. women's ice hockey team won its very first gold since 1998, which is the only other time they've won gold. And when the sport debuted, ever since then, it's been a Canadian run after the gold. Well, we put an end to that winning streak, and then we did the same thing in curling.
Overtime, 2-2, gold medal game.
The U.S. women played like it was the last game of their lives. They forced their gold medal ice hockey match against Canada into overtime, then into a shootout.
She beats and scores!
In sudden death, the unbelievable happened.
She's stopped! The United States wins gold in Pyeongchang!
I'm speechless. I'm emotional. I'm in shock. I just, like, 3 words that come to mind. Our team did this together, though. It was an unbelievable win by us.
The U.S. also defeated the Canadians in the curling semifinals, meaning for the first time in history, American men will play for curling gold.
And hopefully in a couple days, we're standing at the top of that podium with our national anthem playing.
Double 1080.
In the ski halfpipe, Americans David Wise and Alex Ferreira spun and grabbed their way to gold and silver, as did Jamie Anderson, who won silver in snowboard big air. Michaela Schifrin made up serious time to grab silver in the Alpine Super Combined. And teammate Lindsey Vonn was #1 after the downhill, but failed to finish the slalom. Your heart just goes out for Lindsey Vonn, who's just had bad luck after bad luck so far. She does have a bronze medal, though, in what is likely to be her final Olympics. In Pyeongchang, Gina Kim, Local 4.
Yeah, and she was so close. She had the lead after that first part of that downhill, too. Before coverage begins tonight, be sure to tune into the O-Zone. We'll break down the U.S. women's hockey team's awesome win last night. And Meryl will be here to get you ready for the gold medal final for ladies figure skating. The O-Zone at 7:30 right here on Local 4. Some high-tech help to find the perfect pair of jeans. This is all for you.
Well, it's for anyone, really, but new here at 5:30, how this pair of leggings might take the pain out of something that can be so frustrating.
Yeah, that's for you. And how police say a robotics expert quietly built Michigan State University out of almost $500,000. Hey, Kim.
Hey guys, what happens when you mix figure skating and life lessons? I'll show you figure skating in Detroit's recipe for success. That's next.
Jeopardy! New at 6.
What are you breathing in all night long as you sleep? You may be surprised by what researchers found is lurking in most bedrooms and how it could be affecting your health. Jamie.
Last night, the Canadians and the Americans battled it out on Olympic ice. Well, guess what? There's a connection to this ice right here in Farmington Hills. That story next.
All right, Jamie, we're following breaking news downriver. A gunman has barricaded himself inside a Lincoln Park restaurant. You're looking at live pictures here outside the Noodle House on Fort Street. That's near Goddard. We're being told the gunman is alone. Police have the restaurant surrounded, and that area is blocked off to traffic. We'll bring you any new developments live on air and on clickondetroit.com as we get them.
Ready, go. Yes, much better.
Life lessons on ice, teaching young girls in Detroit how to succeed off of it.
I've heard girls say they're starting to do better in math. I hear girls saying that they're starting to feel better or feel more confident speaking in front of people.
Oh, this is so much more than just a Learn to Skate program. Figure skating in Detroit started nearly a year ago, and already program leaders are seeing success.
Yeah, our Kimberly Gill is back to explain what it is about figure skating that's preparing these girls to go after their dreams.
Yeah, it really is something unique, guys. Figure skating in Detroit is the first expansion of figure skating in Harlem. It's a program that's been succeeding for 20 years now. In both, figure skating is paired with education, empowering their girls to achieve their goals on and off the ice.
March, march, march. Good job. That's so good.
These little girls are enjoying a lesson in figure skating from Olympic gold medalist Meryl Davis.
Good work.
It's just part of a unique program for girls of color ages 6 to 15 called Figure Skating in Detroit.
It's really a youth development program in this scenario, developing girls, building into their confidence and really helping to create leaders.
Right over here so it can be clear. The skating is just one component.
What's another J word? Let's help Jada.
This first of its kind program combines academics and life lessons that prepare these girls for a bright future.
This is something that really builds girls' confidence and self-esteem, and so that's important. So no matter what avenue they decide to go in life, having that confidence and self-esteem will take them where they need to go and beyond.
Just keep that leg low.
Turns out there's a lot about ice skating that's synonymous with life. One of the first lessons they learn is how to fall on the ice, which translates into so much more.
You may fall, you may fail at something, or it didn't work out this time. So what do you do? And that's the most important thing. What do you do to move on and to make things now go your way, or to then become successful?
And when you talk to the girls, it's clear that what they're doing is working.
Yeah, I do a happy dance.
Meet 7-year-old Carrington. Confidence is not something she lacks.
I love the way that we skate and how we just learn more skating things and be smart, and we can do better math and science and music activities.
And 11-year-old Jordan says she's been skating since she was 3 and has dreams of becoming an Olympian.
We get a lot of help here, and it's fun to do. We have fun activities. Can you show us how to do a bunny hop?
Nice. And having Merrill Davis heavily involved in the program gives these girls firsthand access to an Olympic champion.
To give girls this amazing chance to learn these skills on the ice that they can then take with them into their futures, it's really awesome for me.
Awesome indeed. And Merrill is leading a GoFundMe campaign to raise money for figure skating in Detroit. Her goal is to raise $25,000 by the end of the month. If you want to learn more about it, we've put a link on our website, clickondetroit.com. How about Carrington and Jordan? Weren't they adorable?
My goodness, this makes me better at science and math.
Exactly. Yeah, they're so smart.
That money will go through the roof. You just need to let those girls get out there and promote that for sure.
Great program. Thank you, Kim. Sure.